Hey,
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone who is joining us today. We welcome you to the Bright Talk conversation with me and Vinay to really have a lively conversation. Vinay, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
hi everyone. I am Vinay Kumar. I work with Meylah as a Chief Operating Officer. I look at the daily operations as well as some of the strategy. I have been associated with Meylah for almost about 6 years, and it's just pleasure to work with Chaitra and Ram. So Chaitra, just thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be here today and also talk on some of the important things that we are doing. Right? Awesome.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Vinay. I am Chaitra Vedullapalli. I'm the co-founder and CMO at Meylah. Some of the work we do with Meylah is to really help companies to really digitally transform their business using cloud and AI technologies. And we also have built our own SaaS products to help automate some of our processes. The second role I play is I'm also a co-founder and president of Women in Cloud, helping women to have access to $1 billion in economic opportunities. And as I work through that program, there's a lot of we get involved and really thinking about community activations that we do. So today, what we will share is really around how we go about picking technologies to really do your community activation, your event activation, to engage our community. And then we'll talk about some of the things that you actually would like to hear about, which is what's the role does our digital transformation play in the events industry? Second is how to choose technology for your event from a planning stage to a promotion stage to an execution stage. So those are the topics which we will discuss. So Vinay, what are the things that you are seeing with stuff today with the events? What are you seeing it?
Well, you remember, right? The February, all of a sudden we went into COVID-19 era, and then, we were all locked down, and people were thinking that, how would events happen, and how would people meet, how would businesses will happen, right? And then people started figuring it out that, we should do a lot of virtual events. We should do, probably we should connect from wherever we are, and then still keep the things going, right? So I think this virtual event is going to stay, and virtual event is going to contribute to a lot more than before. And of course, once things are back to normal, we will have the normal events, the in-person live events, which is so important. But at the same time, virtual events are more productive. It's going to stay with us, and then we'll have to innovate and learn how we are going to do virtual events than what we are doing today in a better way, and also how we are going to transform that entire virtual event space, right? So yeah.
So, Vinay, for me personally, I've been like doing the virtual events for last, 6, 7 years. Started with GoToMeeting as our first technology. And I remember the first time when we had like 600 people registered for virtual webinar across the world. We couldn't believe it. It was pretty exciting to say, wow, even if that is even possible. But after like the 30th people joining the GoToMeeting, it crashed. Uh,
Exactly.
and we said, sorry, the webinar cannot happen. And now we fast forward to 6 years forward. Now the virtual, events have become a norm for all of us. And it's been really fascinating to see the transformation. But some of the things that we have learned through this journey, which we will start to share with you, is how do you need to think about the role the digital transformation play in the events industry. So Vinay, what are you seeing? How is the digital transformation going to play? What are kind of the challenges you are seeing?
Right. See, I think people have started addressing some of the basic issues that were there, right? They started saying that, how would I meet, right? You need to find a platform to meet. Now, the events, of course, is a game that, you need to plan, strategize, and think. So people are still figuring it out. How do I do that, right? How do I plan my event? How do I execute my event? though the event is happening virtual, you still, the basics remain the same, and they need to find out right tools to transform the virtual events. So I think people are trying to find right solutions to answer both the planning as well as the execution, Chaitra.
Got it, got it, got it. So from my side, Vinay, when I look at the digital transformation that's happening in the event industry, as you talked about, I kind of bucket into three areas that I have seen that has happened right after the pandemic hit. One is when we look at the events industry, the biggest thing that it did was creating a social capital for all of us, and we could meet with people, come up with ideas, and innovate. That social capital completely got eroded with the COVID hitting. So that one was the first thing that really got impacted because people were in their homes and they were behind the screen. So that particular connection was really reducing. The second piece that I felt was the collaboration, because we all had to work from home. The processes that were working inside an office had to literally transform for working from home, even for the events too, if you're thinking about virtual events or even collaborating with each other. And third is, as each individual went through it, the skills that was required for hosting and planning and promoting the event, that skill needed to be advanced and changed. That did not have that education available for most of the event planners. So that is what was the biggest challenges that each and every event organizer faced, like lack of social capital. How do you transform that? And how do you look at digital tools that allow you to bring that back? And we have experimented with some of them, which we'll share with you. Collaboration is how to collaborate with the speakers, the sponsors, and the audience, and even your team. We'll share some of the secrets there that we have used. And then the skills, what kind of skills you really need to know when you're doing digital or hybrid events going forward. So as we go through it, I'll take you through a few slides, and then Vinay, you can also ask questions and facilitate. But for all the audience who are listening, feel free to ask questions because that would make it very lively for all of us. Sounds good? So when we think about is the shift that is happening in the event experience itself, when you're looking at the virtual event, there are two pieces that you have to really start planning for. One is the venue, which is your website or a landing page. That needs to come alive and it has to be very valuable. In the past, when it was an in-person, yes, there was a landing page, but with digital, you actually have to provide more richer information for people to really navigate. Everything has to be provided in detail. The second one is your stage. Really thinking about your stage would be around streaming, which is your platform of how the content is going to be delivered will become the new stage. So those two things have to come together seamlessly. So Vinay, what about how are you thinking about this one? Do you feel the same thing that's happening in India right now when you look at all the pieces?
Yes, Chaitra, and especially when you look at website as your new venue, the previous the format of the event websites are not relevant anymore, because previously you just gave information about the event itself and then the event agenda, but now that's not going to solve most of the issues. You might have to have much more detail in place, and then also you need to have a place where you're going to stream the event directly onto your website. So that is very, very important.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Yeah. And Chaitra, I know you are an expert on this field, so I just wanted to ask, right? It's so important to how do you pick your technology? What are the few factors that you take to say this is a technology stack that I'm going to use for this particular event? Because every event is different, right? It's not the same. Each event is going to differ, but I would want your expert opinion on how do you pick the technology, Chaitra?
Sure, Vinay. When I'm looking at technology, it has become like an art and science. right now. And I also feel is the you need to have is the love for technology. This is the place where you actually have to embrace. So there is a science to it, is which are, because now you have a lot of no code technology. That means you don't have to code anything. You just have to buy a subscription, and you can work with the technology of choice. And we'll share some of the one. And then the art is the creativity on how you stitch all these technologies to create an experience for the audience. So when I'm looking at my technology criteria of how I go into selecting what technology should be doing is access. So I look at mostly is how the login experience look like. How do people get access to? How many times they have to sign up, sign in? Do they get struggle just to get to see what we are trying to do? So that's access is a very important angle I focus on, because if you make the access simpler, then people will get excited to participate. The second one is the connection. Are we driving the right connection? So are we creating that social capital for people? Are they meeting one or two people, or they're just there to listen to what I have to say? Because events where I am the only talking figure, I want is the community to be talking and connecting with each other. And the third one is planning and execution. How easy it is to plan and how easy it is to execute using the technology that we have. So that is my criteria that I use. And every time I look at a technology, it has to pass these three basic criteria, and it all has to be green. On a scale of 1 to 10, I want every application to have better access, better connection, better planning and execution. Once I get that right, then I go into a deeper dive, understanding what features and capabilities that I need.
I think, Chaitra, it's very, very important and valid point that you made. Access is so important because just imagine that, not all users are tech savvy. So if you are going to make them log in many a times and then download the application, you create a new login, your users are going to drop. That means that attendees are going to be much lesser than you expect, right?
Exactly.
So it has to be simple enough, I click and I join the meeting, or I click and I join the event.
Exactly. So Vinay, like if you remember when you had GoToMeeting and WebEx, those login processes were so difficult, made the users get cringe just going into an experience. And then Zoom came, made it so easy. Even like my grandmas and young kids, they were able to use it so easily because they made the access so simple. And from a planning perspective, the scheduling and planning with that became very easy. The interface was very easy, right? Then that was the one what made extremely high adoption of the technology, right? Because they did all the pieces that was required. Now, if you look at it, they are putting so much difficulty accessing that. There is this code, this one, that one. So they are making it so difficult. Now it's like scheduling a Zoom call. I'm like, oh, I can't do this. This is so complex. So don't make the planner think like that. Make it easier for them to plan, easier for the audience to attend. So those are the things to keep that in mind as a criteria.
Absolutely. So the next question, Chaitra, you said planning. It's so important, right? You execute any project. It doesn't matter whether it's an event or whether you're actually working on probably you're launching a new product, or you're doing something important, or everything starts from planning. So when it comes to event, how do you plan events, Chaitra?
So for me, planning is the best part for me for events, because I get to really dream of new ideas and innovation for creating the community come together and connect with each other. And as I do that, there are some, and as I'm thinking about an experience, I'm also thinking about is how to keep it simple so that everybody who is involved through end-to-end process, it's very seamless. There's no chaos in it. So some of the things that, I struggled with early on in the event planning piece is I think it's all event planners planners can go through is the curation of the speakers and sponsors. Really managing that in Excel spreadsheet was a nightmare. Doing this constant communication with each other during the whole event execution, because you have to communicate with speaker individually, sponsor individually, write like group emails and scheduling emails. That one was extremely overwhelming. Like it was really overwhelming. And then content management, it was in 10 different systems, personal folders, and kind of trying to find the information to really engage with the right audience. It was also time consuming and stressful. The last one was the follow-ups. It's really like getting your bio, getting your headshot, getting all the pieces. Those are very important aspect of event execution, because that actually creates the promotion plan for your social media, for your signage, or anything that is required for promoting that. So that follow-up process was overwhelming. And the last one is, now that everything is digital, we wanted to make sure is data compliant and security. So this data is handled in multiple different spreadsheets and tools and multiple people. So those were kind of the big challenges that we faced. And then I started to use many of these typical tools. And I think many of the event organizers are using. I'm just giving as a synopsis of like a summary of some of the tools that commonly used. Trellos are used for project management, or Monday.com. Then you have cloud storage, and then you have like Smartsheet. These were all the typical tools the planner were using, but still you had to connect all the pieces. That one was the place where we struggled a lot. And that's when, one of the things that we did was build our own technology to solve our own chaos from the event planning and execution. By doing that, Vinay, most of our event organizer friends, they got excited because we started to streamline some of the things. And what we did was we drove a curation process very seamlessly, so that we can keep everything in one single place and manage the relationship, and which I will share a demo of how it looks like. And then seamless communication with automated workflows and dashboards, so that I had a very simple way to collect the headshot, the bio, the PowerPoint, everything in one single place, and it's automated. Third is centralize the content management piece, so everything is in one place. The entire team has access to content, so it's not like sitting in one's inbox. And last is driving the data compliance. So those were kind of the things that we did. Do you want to see a demo of how that looks like?
Absolutely, Chaitra. And I love all these four, the important things that we have addressed using the speaker engage, and specifically when it comes to the data compliance, because every event has a high profile speaker, right? His email address, his phone number, everything is so important that, it should not go into public, or it should not get into wrong hands. So I think it's very important that the event managers, take a notice that they should stop using things which are like Google Drive, which has access to everybody, and nobody knows how the data has been used, right? So yeah. So
absolutely. Let's do a demo then. Is that good? Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Before we do demo, I actually want to share with everyone is like, when you think about what we built, like we built for us and we used it for a year to year and a half till we mastered it. And then we made it a commercial version of the technology. So all of you can also use it now, especially with when you want to increase the social capital, when you want to work from home and you want the skills, which is easy to do your virtual events or hybrid events. It makes it easier. So what I'm going to show you is today's, we'll talk about at a glance dashboard, how that looks like, how to manage the speakers, how you drive the automated data workflows, and then is the agenda management and sessions. Very easy to pull all the pieces together. So let me share my screen. So you can actually, so let me know, Vinay, if you can see my screen.
Yes, I started to see your screen, Chaitra. Yeah.
Okay. So when you log in into the Speaker Engage platform, it really gives you is how many events you're working. Like that's data, I would say the data at a glance, how many speakers you have, how many sponsors, how many emails were sent. And for every 1,000 emails that goes out, it saves you like around 25 hours that it saves you, and total number of contacts you have in your system, what's the data storage and number of emails that's sent per event. So we just did a social entrepreneurship academy with the youth. And then it's basically, Vinay, like I was able to really work with the team. And these are all high school students and their parents, and working with them was pretty simple. So basically, I had all the application from, getting the speaker application form. So they didn't have to really create a Google form really get information about the speaker. They would also get is the, if the community or a volunteer needed to engage, so they had the master application form, and they could take quick actions, like you could take quick actions to do it. But here it gives you is a speaker dashboard, is how many speakers were there, how many got approved, how many emails were sent, and how many opened it. So that gives you a very good idea if the speakers are actually opening your emails or not. So it was very helpful to engage with them, call them, text them. Then you have also the sponsor one. And this is your community. Like you didn't really have to have a MailChimp to really send all the communication. So basically everything was integrated in our master contact list, and you could communicate with each one of them. So you could also see who is actually opening and not, gives you an information about how to engage with that. So from a speaker management, it was very simple. So you could actually go and manage your speakers, had every information about the speaker here. So you could look at it, you can go into all the details. So if you want to really look at creating a new speaker, you can either search from your database of speakers, or you can create the information about the speaker, which was very, very easy. Like it would literally help you capture all the information about them. If they cannot do it, you can do it on their behalf and capture that. Now, let's say you have some data that is not complete and you want to get information about a speaker. So it one was very easy. Like, let's say I want to get headshot and information. Basically, I had to say, I need a headshot, I need a bio, and I need your topic and information. And you basically could send a note to that person. They would open a form and then give you all the information that you need. Okay. Then as you're preparing your agenda, you actually needed to prepare your agenda. And it's so hard because everybody is working in their Excel spreadsheet. This allows you to manage your agenda and also view your agenda in a PDF. So let's say I want to see what is the agenda going to look like. So there's an introduction, they'll talk about, there's a product planning. And then if I want to view the agenda, I can look at what's happening, what's the time, if there is PowerPoint available or not, you can upload it and makes it easier. And if you want to share the agenda as you're planning as a team, makes it like schedule at a glance. So as a team, you can really look at how the agenda is coming together. Makes it so much easier for everybody to see the changes that are happening. So you don't really have to do it in an Excel spreadsheet.
Absolutely, Chaitra. I think it is so important for an event organizer to stay up to date about their agenda, and Excel spreadsheets can put you off track because today you have updated something but your team member does not have access to it. So I think having a tool like Speaker Engage, which is a multi-user experience where you can have your team members collaborate with you on not one project but multiple projects, helps you stay on track on communication, on the event agenda management, and the entire event itself.
Absolutely. So, Vinay, you worked with me on a lot of the promotion stage of the event. My question for you is what is the best way that you promote your event? What are the best way that people need to think about promoting the events?
Well, Chaitra, I say that the PR and there are you can do a lot of in-person marketing, but things are changing, right? The things are moving digital, right? If you are hosting a virtual event, you don't have to do like a typical marketing. You just have to go on, launch your campaigns and do a lot of digital marketing through social media, through email communication, and probably also do some speaker and other influencer involvement. So that's where I see that the things are changing, and I think this is a way ahead.
Yeah, and also, Vinay, like this is the kind of things that I am personally seeing, right? When you have scheduled a event, not that the users will come to you, you actually have to go to users where they are. And some of the things that the team really, really wanted to solve is these challenges is like creating that social media content per channel,
Mhm.
creating promo kits so that we can give it to our speakers, the sponsors, the brand ambassadors, really sending like personalized communication, outreach through the communities, and then also involving the speaker and influencer. Do you feel those are kind of the challenges you're also seeing?
Totally, I see that. Yeah.
Yep. What are kind of the typical tools planners are using for promotion right now?
See, I mean, it's the same old tools. They're all fragmented, Chaitra. If you look at it, people will be using for social media, they're using Hootsuite, and then for team members to collaborate, they're using Google Drive or OneDrive, and typically any of these SkyDrives that are available. And then you have the email marketing that you're doing with Mailchimp, but it's not a wholesome experience, right? They're doing uh, things at different places, right? Go to different places, find what's happening, and come back, right? So these are all the typical tools that planners are using currently.
Got it. Got it. And then, do you want to kind of take me through the how you have automated with the speaker engage around promoting the events?
Yes, Chaitra. So you already know that the communications is a very key aspect of the event promotion and also the event communication. So we have two things that we have already integrated within Speaker Engage. One is the email communication. So the Speaker Engage suite comes with the email communication. So every action that every email that you write goes with your email address, so that people know that you are sending it. And then let's say your team member sends it, it goes with the effort of the, I mean, with your team members from name and the details of it, so that if they reply, they get the reply to that email address. And also we have integrated a social media promotional kit. This consists of the social media calendar, plus also a promo kit that you can actually give it to your event attendees. You can give it to your speakers, and they can start sharing all the social posts that you do. That gets amplified on the social, right?
So, should we take a spin around these two capabilities, Vinay?
Yes, Chaitra, I'm excited to see the demo.
Okay, got it. So if you think about going back into here, as Vinay
Mhm.
talked about, was the email communication. So it comes with already standard templates, and then you can create your own email. So for example, let's say this one was a thank you email. So it was very you can just go in, create your email, and the template is created. And then let's say if you want to clone that particular one and you want to change the messaging, you just go clone it, and it allows you to clone any of the messages that you want to clone. Makes it so much easier to manage all the emails that are out there. um,
Awesome.
and then if you look at, you can also see is when you send these emails, what is the usage of it? And you can use that one. You can edit it. You can edit the existing one. Let's say there was like a typo or something that happened. So you don't have to worry. You can come here, change it. But the way I really like sending it is like the bulk notification. Let's say I want to send email to all the approved speakers, and I want to figure out, let's say I want to call for speed, actually not call. Let's say I want them to be, give them is all the orientation information. Basically, I have a template, and then I just have to click, and it goes to all the speakers who were approved. Makes it easier. And if I want to copy their speaker managers, I can just copy that, and everybody gets the notification. This is one of my favorite part of the technology. The second one is the social media.
Hello, Chaitra? Looks like we are not hearing Chaitra. Okay, so the next one is the social media calendar that we have. Hello, Chaitra, are you back? I think stay tuned for a minute, people. Chaitra should be back. She's sharing the screen, so just one moment. Okay, so
I am back.
Okay, cool. I was about to start my demo, but yeah, get on, Chaitra. Sorry.
Okay, sorry about that. It's the network. So the second piece that we talked was about where did we drop off, Vinay? Is it?
You were showing them the social media planner. You just started, yeah.
Okay, so in the social media planner, you could actually plan your campaigns, because each event, what we have seen that you have to do 3 to 4 campaigns to really drive, and you need to create social media posts. So you can actually plan your campaign. You can create your campaign here, and then you can create is your campaign post. So I want to show you is like, this is a campaign for the Digital Act On Business Fair. This is all the content that is there. You can look into a list view of each of the campaign. You can look at what the messages are that goes on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And it also sends you is it ready for public sharing? Let's say this is ready for public sharing. You can basically send this link as your promo kit. This is your promo kit, automated from your technology, and you send it to everyone, your speakers, your audience, your brand ambassador, sponsor. What they can do is come here, and if they like the post, they basically can like it and share it on the Facebook. Does that help, Vinay?
That helps. Chaitra, I have 2 questions on this. Can we get back to the demo screen? I just wanted to see if we can add some value to our viewers. So on the social media thing, Chaitra, so can they have multiple campaigns under one event, or can they have that's something that we wanted to make it clear, because I think it's going to be important for our viewers to learn that.
So you can create multiple campaigns for each event. So I can create multiple events, but then I also create that one. It makes it very, very easy for you to create the campaign, and you can put a start date and end date. And the other thing that I have liked, Vinay, is you can actually replicate one campaign that you did in some event, let's say a year ago. You can bring that campaign and all the materials, tweak, change the graphic, and you're ready to create your promo kit.
Oh, wow. That's so simple. Yeah.
Yep. And then you can see all the campaigns that has been done. You can work on the drafts and the things that are active. So it really helps you as a event organizer to have all the I would say promotional content, which is your social media content in more visual way, so that you don't have to send it in a Word document. You don't have to send it in an email, because people do forget, but this one can be on your website and people can go and share it. It can be in your community. You can add it to your signature. So makes it very easy for your community to get engaged on creating their promo kit, sharing your promo kit.
And I think, Chaitra, we also have an embed code that we have as an option, so that they can just copy and then put it on their website.
Absolutely.
So that every attendee and then the speaker has access to this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome.
So the third one is the execution stage. What do you see, Vinay, in the execution stage?
I think it's always execution stage is chaotic, Chaitra, and that's where the most of the energy goes in, because I understand the planning phase is longer, but the 2 days or 3 days of your execution is where the burst happens, or it could be even a small event which you're doing it for a couple of hours, right? So I want to ask you how do you I understand the energy management is one, but how do you also bring in interactivity in a virtual event when people are staying apart, they're in their individual houses, you cannot do what you did previously in your events, you cannot have probably do a meditation session, or you cannot do some fun activities, but how do you do it in a virtual event, Chaitra?
So when you're doing the planning and the promotion piece, so designing the interactivity to engage the attendees within the event really requires a little bit thinking, and the execution can be pretty chaotic very fast, right? Because some of the things that you have to think about from an execution challenges is your live streaming. You just saw me, like my network just glitched and I was out of the network. And when I thank you for holding the audience during that time, that's a very classic example around the live streaming that it can go away. Second is you really want to drive attendee networking, because that is where you can preserve the social capital of your community and your ecosystem. So that is another challenge that you have to plan for. Third is the communication. Are they getting the right communication at the right time? So they are showing up to where you want them to show. So that's a third piece of execution challenge we see. And once they are inside the event, they have signed up, they're all there, is the audience engagement, chat, polling, notification on that. So if you think about right now, we want our audience to engage with us, right? So if they ask questions, we can answer them. So take a moment to engage with us, then we know that you are interacting. And the last one is integration with social media platform. Most of the content that is getting created, Vinay, that needs to come into the social media platform, so that where the audience are, that's where you want to engage. Because right now with the virtual, the attention is so low, and capturing the audience with their attention, keeping them available to access the event, allow them to interact with the people, those are all very I would say not just simple challenges. These are more difficult challenges. So what I did was thinking about all the technologies that are out there. I just made is a simple chart for people to think through it. So I took out 5 application, and then looked at the kind of capability from live streaming to network attendee communication, attendee management, and integration with social media. So Veena, can you talk about how Teams and Zoom work in these 5 categories?
Yes, Chaitra, definitely, right? That both of these platforms, Teams and Zoom, has been the most used platforms in the the February after the COVID started. People are working from home, they're trying to use this as more collaboration, and Teams specifically works for really well when you have higher number of audience, because it's built for scale. It's an enterprise grade platform. So let's say even if you are doing a live event on Teams, you can accommodate up to 20,000 people. That is so awesome that you would be able to stream it for a larger audience, right? But if you look at some of the things the attendee networking or communication, that's not there. Probably Microsoft is working on it, but that's something that we are yet to see that. And of course, you can do attendee engagement by probably using your own polls and all of that. And you can also stream your event on your on social media channels like Facebook and YouTube. You will have to use a third party tool like OBS to do that. Zoom is very common platform that people are using for live streaming. You can use the Zoom meeting room, or also Zoom webinar is also another option. And you can do some of the breakout sessions by creating multiple rooms. That's something which does not come out of the box, but you'll have to create that. And you can have some amount of communication that you can do through Zoom. You can do polls, you can do chat, you can do multiple things there. And then you have attendee engagement that you can keep up with. uh, Again, out of the Zoom, you can directly stream it onto your YouTube and Facebook from Zoom. So these are two good enterprise grade platform. These are not so event specific, but can be used for events.
Yep.
So
And thanks, Vinay. And, what we are doing is making it as simple as possible for you to think about how to pick a technology for execution. And usually we look at these 5 areas, and you can add more, but these are our mandatory 5 areas that we assess each application. And then the other innovative technologies that have come out is Remo, there is Hopin, there is AirMeet, but I actually like Remo. We use a lot, which I'll show you why I love it so much, because it does the live streaming, has the attendee networking. You can communicate with audience very well, keeps the attendee engaged in the event, and the integration with social media is limited. You can only stream to YouTube, but they're working on other things, but also they can integrate with Hey Summit, which allows you to kind of have the summit planning, which is your website, all integrated well, so which I love that. Now, Socials 27 is an emerging technology. It's really run by one of my friends. And yes, they're also really evolving their technology for making this one much more meaningful. So Vinay, thanks for sharing that on the Teams and Zoom. And remember, like Teams, there is a streaming component, which is Teams Live, and then there's Teams Meeting. But when you do Teams Live, you cannot actually do as a breakout session. Just keep that in mind as you're thinking about Teams. When you think about the event type, this is another one which usually we get questions about is, one, should I use what technology and how do I need to think about? So here are a couple of ways I look at it. If it's a webinar, it's a very different programming. Summit is a different programming. Conference is a different programming. Network and social activities, which is your happy hours stuff. Then you have fundraising events and the job fairs, and you can come up with another 100 ideas. But these are kind of the events which are like typical events that you need to do. So if you look at, I also organized for each of the technologies. So for me, like Remo actually standouts really high, and you can do all of that. And we have executed each and every event type in the Remo environment, and it has worked really, really beautifully. It has worked, and our community loves it. And I'll show you why they love it. So it kind of gives you a quick idea for it. It's very expensive, so that's the one you need to remember. But point is, it is a very good technology. And if you are thinking about hosting 3 to 5 events, and if events is part of your core business strategy, then I would recommend you to consider and think about it. The second one is Teams and Zoom is very, very good. Like if you think about Teams, like you can do webinars extremely well, but when it comes to Summit, you cannot really run a Summit, but you can use components of the Teams to run the Summit. Conference, again, you can use the component, but you have to stitch multiple technologies for that. And then networking and social, you can do it, but I think with the Teams together mode, which has come in, I think the networking and social will become really cool, which I'm really looking forward to looking at it, but I've not really done a full assessment. Fundraising and job fairs, really not designed for that. Zoom, same thing. There's a little bit of pieces. What do you think about Zoom, Vinay, on that?
Yeah, I think it's a typical webinar style kind of an event can run on Zoom. But when it comes to where you want to bring in a lot more interactivity and then want to do things like job fairs, fundraising, I think the best platform would be Remo, because it has a lot more interaction. You can have like a table discussion, you can do a lounge discussion. There are a lot of things that you can do on Remo.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then when you look at StreamYard and Social 27, they are not really designed for that experience. They're really designed for a panel conversation that you want to stream. But Social 27 is evolving for webinars and summits. They are really has a lot of the capabilities, but I have not seen them actually do for conference or job fairs or fundraising. So that is just because of the limited knowledge I have around it, which which we are still exploring. But when you talk to us, if you want to learn more about us, but Teams, Remo, and Zoom, and StreamYard, we really understand in and out of that technology really well. So one of the aha moments for me, as we were doing, like we did 52 events over the COVID era time, a lot of events, right? Some of the things that I learned was access was very, very important. So our team actually felt like they could get things done easily without pulling our hair apart. So that one was very important. Second is the feel inside the technology has to be very easy. It needs to look like you're working on some cool technology. It shouldn't be boring that you can't really figure out. So the technology has to energize you to work within it, especially because you're spending so much time in it. So do you want to see the Remo instance too, Vinay? Do you want to think like we should share it with the audience?
Definitely, people need to see it because it's so amazing. It gives you a real event experience. Yep, let's get started.
Yeah. And I'm a customer, so and I don't even have any partnership with them. It's just that they've really thought about as a customer of what that networking experience should look like and how to preserve the social capital. So as we are coming to the end of the session, I would love each one of you to share the questions if you're still listening to us, and we would love to engage, okay, while we'll do the demo for you.
Yeah.
Okay, can you see my screen, Vinay?
Yes.
So when you think about it, this is what happens within the Remo experience. Like it has the stage, it has like a video when people enter into the event, you can see it. There is like agenda that people can see. These are lounges. There are like at least 10 different layouts that are there, but these are lounges where like the judge's lounge, or you can have different tables you can set. If it's more than 50 people, you actually have elevators here, so you can go from floor 1 to floor 2. And it's very simple. Like as you are here, you can talk to people. And if you want to go live on the streaming, I just have to click present and I can take everybody into the streaming experience. And here you can actually do a lot of announcements, whiteboarding, timer. You can mute a table. It's pretty fantastic to really see what you could do. If you look at it, when the people come into our events, they actually feel that they're meeting people. We are trying to preserve that social capital as much as we can. I know the technologies are going to be very difficult, but the thing is they have made it very easy. And also they have is the help. If they need help, you can literally go into the help piece. So those are kind of the things that we love from a technology standpoint. Hopefully you got something out of learning from us as we are sharing how to think about your technology choices.
And I also love the branding piece there, Chaitra. Like, you can get your event sponsors to be there on the event, like, get them branded. It's so important, right? Like, they feel special about it.
Exactly. So we have a couple of offers. If you want to work with us, then we'll share that one. And if there are any questions, please feel free to type your questions right now, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Vinay, you can go ahead.
Awesome. So everybody who is watching this this podcast on Bright Talk gets to download a free ebook, and I'll tell you how to do that. And then also what we are giving away is so special that we are giving a technology subscription bundle. Our Speaker Engage platform, you can avail a free 100-day trial. Plus, what we are also going to give is a 10% discount for the first year. And Microsoft Teams, we are giving away 6 months free. So all 3 of these are available for our participants today or anytime that you watch it. So all that you have to do is go to this URL, which is yourtakeaways.com/claim. Once you go there, you get an input box where you have to put in the passcode. So the passcode is on the screen. That is 7K5P like in Peter, 7V like in Victor. So if you put that on yourtakeaways.com, you get to give us a feedback about how this session went, and then what was that you learned from the session, and also any feedback for me and Chaitra so that we can be much more helpful in the next session. So all of that you can do there. Plus, at the same time, you get to download the offer. So let's get you to the offer. Yeah.
And some of you actually wanted us to really is like make it happen. Chaitra, we want to see how you can help us. So we do have a special offer on the Microsoft Teams because we are a Microsoft partner.
Good.
Yeah, and a gold partner. So as part of it, we do actually have is a 6 weeks to host your webinar, and we pretty much help you manage your end-to-end event execution from your setups to promotion to programming to producing your event and also the post-event video packaging. Plus, you also get to taste the experience of speaker engage and manage your IP with there. Okay, so it's a price that is very, very minimal. So you don't really have to figure out. Once you get the hang of it, you can basically use the blueprint for your business and you can use it consistently to engage with your partners and customers and your audience. And then, so the best way for us is connect with us, contact for a 30-minute free consultation, more around how to think about events in general. And then also, if you have any upcoming events, share it on our directory on speakerengage.com. I will, and Vinay and I, we will make sure we are promoting within our network. We'll get you access into our ecosystem so we can also promote it as a gift for you. And then please download the ebook. We definitely built is the a content that allows all of us to connect with you and give you the insider information of how we are looking at events. I really look at events as creating social capital, building a bigger network, and creating is a we can work towards solving world goals and global goals. So connect with us. We are here to help you transform your strategies and automate some of your.
Looks like we lost Chaitra, but all we wanted to say is that I know that right now we are all isolated, but just that doesn't mean that we have to be isolated. We can still stay connected by doing some virtual events, and we would be happy to do that 30 minutes consultation and help you to say strategize or tell you how to conduct the event. So definitely any questions, please do let us know in the chat box. We will be available to take any more questions that can come in. Hey Chaitra, you're back.
Yes. Any final thoughts you had?
Yeah, I just told them that we know that we are all isolated, but let's do more virtual events and stay connected. And anytime if they require assistance, it's just an email away. We can do a 30 minutes consultation and then guide them what's the best way to probably produce the event. And I've asked you for some questions. I think we have some questions coming in.
Sure. So one question, Vinay, one is absolutely take a moment to really rethink your, I would say, engagement strategy with your customers and partners. Use the channels right now. The technologies are evolving and it's really pretty spectacular capabilities coming out. So test it out. Don't be afraid to use tech products because it's only going to get better. I'm telling you from 6 years ago, from what it is, yes, we do get a network glitch because it's a Wi-Fi thing and a broadband thing. So I have this issue because everybody, the school and the kids and adults, everybody is doing, and I think the pipes are not handling a lot of packets to go move back and forth. So that is going to happen, but with 5G coming in, I think it's going to solve some of the things that as we transform the society. The second thing is join me and Vinay and my entire community to be part of our events that we do on where you get to network with us. Come and experience it. Don't have to go and test out everything, do small portion. But best thing that my mentors and even my parents have said is plan really well, plan it twice and think through it, and then go execute. So having the right planning tools will make your event execution less chaotic, seamless, and very connected. So that would be some of my recommendations of how you think about your events. Hopefully you learned something today.
I learned a lot of it, Chaitra. Thank you so much. This was a great conversation. Very I would say very thought provoking, and so many takeaways for myself, and I'm sure there are a lot of takeaways for the audience as well.
Absolutely. Well, with that, we have very light questions. So what we are going to do is give you back the time. I would love all of you to have a fantastic day and a week. And we look forward to connecting with you on LinkedIn. With that, have a fantastic day. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Thank you.